Witnessing his parents being brutally murdered on the streets of Gotham City in his childhood, Bruce Wayne vows to avenge their deaths against crime as costumed dark vigilante Batman. Under the control of the Joker's criminal empire, Gotham City is full of gloominess and fearfulness. Batman starts his battle against his greatest foe, interfering with his evil plans, ruining his poisoning schemes, and finally eliminating him with his high-tech crime-fighting equipment. Promising to defend Gotham City, he will appear whenever the bat signal shows up high in the sky, and only one will claim the light. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, if any watching, this is indeed the toy review of the long-awaited and most exciting Hot Toys Deluxe 1/6 scale collectible figure of not just a Batman, but the Batman. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a lot to go through, so we're just going to go ahead and start off this review with accessories, since that's pretty much a majority of this whole entire thing. Accessories, you're looking at them all, and I'll just go ahead and show you everything one by one. Let's just start off with Batman, showing off that very true likeness of Michael Keaton right there. Very nice. There you go. The whole entire suit is spot on. If you've actually seen the making of the Batsuit in the making of the Batman film, the whole entire series on YouTube, they show you bit by bit how this suit was actually made. And they pretty much explain it all the way down to the core on how this whole entire design came to be. Especially with his cape. Now, even though the real cape was actually leather, whatever they're using here, which isn't leather, it's pretty close. And the detail on the cape looks spot on to me, but I mean, if you've seen the making of the Batsuit on YouTube, you know for a fact that the cape was actually made and designed on top of a table. And when they took the cape off, when it was completed, the design of the table was left on the cape. It was engraved. So that's what pretty much gave the very textured look to the cape in the film. So that explains that. And it does look like it's right there, so that's very nice. The only thing I really don't know for sure is whether or not these linings right here, the stitching on the cape, was actually in the film. I'll have to look back at the making of the Batman film, which was pretty cool. Very cool series. I do recommend people check it out. It's not that hard to find on YouTube. Oh, speaking of which, there is one thing that is actually wrong with this whole entire Batsuit. And it's got to be his boot. I'm sorry. I really hate to point this out, even though this is just a little nitpicking. The Nike's logo is not present on the boots whatsoever. I guess it's due to copyright. They couldn't get the rights to put the Nike logo, so you know what, it's not that bad. I'm not going to shun this figure just for that reason. It is an awesome figure nonetheless. Look at that. They even put the detail on the bottom of the shoe on the bottom of the figure's shoe. That is so cool. Trademark DC Comics, very nice. Hot Toys right here on the other side, very awesome. It does not get any better than this, people. I mean, this is indeed the ultimate Michael Keaton Batman figure. And I said, so yeah, we'll just set that aside for now. And we'll look at his display stand. And a lot of people are still arguing over the fact that this is designed in yellow, rather than being in black, and the background should have been yellow. I guess that would have looked alright. I mean, but, you know what? I don't want a yellow display stand. 3 AAA batteries. And you get some pretty nice lights. And they're very, very bright. And these have been on for hours, and it's still going strong. And it looks really awesome in the dark. Unfortunately, though, it's pretty bright in this room. I'll have to leave you an image at the end of this review. It also says Batman MMS DX, which stands for Deluxe. I guess that's Movie Master Series, MMS. I'm not so sure. He also comes with these things, these little sticks that help spread out his cape, you know, so you can get that nice looking representation of when he first appeared in the film. And I'll show that off in an image at the end. It's very cool.
He's also got this piece that goes to the display stand, which when it's packaged, when you pull it out at first, you have to pull this whole entire metal pin out and rotate it around, because if you don't, well then when you've got it displayed on the stand, it looks something like this, and that's not right. This is actually his crotch grabber. It pretty much sticks up underneath his crotch, and that's pretty much the whole entire joke right there, right? So yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to show this off. He actually does come with instructions manual, which is nice for those who want to know how this stuff actually works. It's also, it shows the this thing right here. That was the first thing I showed off on the camera. So yeah, it shows you how this actually works. It pretty much, you need a flashlight and you need a pretty dark room. But once you have it set up, I mean, it reflects on the wall, the bat emblem, which is nice. I've done it a few times and it works pretty well, but it leaves also this ring indentation right here, so that's kind of a letdown, but you know what, it's fine. I'm not going to argue about it. Okay guys, we're near the end of all the accessories, so let's continue on with the remote that he used to command the Batmobile. He pretty much spoke into this microphone right here. If I can get the camera to focus on it, there we go. It's very nicely detailed. I'm surprised that they actually gave a lot of paint effort into this thing. It's pretty cool. He also has these things, the Ninja Stars, which I don't remember him using. And then he's got this thing, which still to me today is the most controversial part of this whole entire set. Now, I do know where this is from. It's from the cathedral part in the ending of Batman, where he uses it on that Joker thug, who's got the knives on his legs. And I don't understand how the knives didn't just go past this thing. I mean, how did this thing actually work? I don't understand it. I guess I'm not going to understand it. Because no matter how many times I look back at the film, I still don't see how this actually stopped that thug. So it is what it is. And then, of course, he's got this. For the last of his accessories, he's got his grappling gun, which is magnetic. You can pretty much attach it to his utility belt, if I can get the camera to focus on it alone. There we go. It's got a handle which folds out, and it does actually combine. So you can actually put this in his hands, and I'll show that off a little later on, maybe in an image. And he's got this clip where the piece to his spear on the grappling gun actually attaches to the utility belt, since it's not magnetic. So there's that. And this is a little hard to put on, and if you're not careful, you might leave some stretch marks. But thankfully, I haven't done that just yet. Just yet. And now he's got these interchangeable hands. He's got 8 of them in total, but I've already put my favorite ones where you could put any accessories in his hands already on Batman. So he's got an open hand. He's got another open hand, which, you know, it's very nicely detailed, especially with the diamond cuts on it. I like that. Very cool. I mean, Hot Toys did not skip out on anything, unless they couldn't get the rights to put anything on there, like Nike. So yeah, there's this one as well, another open hand, which I don't know what that could be used for. And then he's got this open hand, which I guess you could probably put the grappling gun in his hands, kinda. And this is what he was originally packaged with, just closed fists. And you know what? Even though they are nicely detailed, they serve no purpose for me, because I like to display my Batman figures, or any figures in this whole entire room, with hands that can hold weapons. Now, there is one thing though. In order to put the this launching thing into his hand, this is the one you use. And this is the only one you can actually use, which I was very surprised. But for some reason, this little addition right here is the only way that this can actually attach on to Batman. This piece right here. It just, there's these 2 pegs on the inside right here, if you can actually see them on the camera, right here, right there. And only these hands can fit through that little hole. So, you know, I just thought I'd let you guys know in case you're trying other hands and it just doesn't work. And last, and certainly not the least, my personal favorite of the whole entire set, Batman's interchangeable faces. So yeah, what he's got right here is the smiling one when Joker, or should I say Jack, is actually talking to him. during the Axis Chemical scene where he says, "Nice outfit," and Batman smiles a little bit, so yeah, there's that. I love that one. But I really love this one, when at the end of the film, the Batwing crashes near the cathedral, Batman rises up from the ashes, and I mean, he's just like bloody. He's like a bloody mess at the face, which is very nice. Some people say this looks more like catch-up, but for those, I say fuck you, this looks perfect. This looks absolutely perfect. It doesn't get any more bloodier than this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, since time is such a big factor in this review, I only have time to show you one accessory attached to Batman, and I've chosen this because a lot of people have had issues with this being the most controversial piece of the whole entire set when it comes to attaching it to Batman. A lot of people have already broken this piece, but I'm going to show you how I get it on very easily. But like I said during the review, you have to have these fists attached to Batman's arms. If you don't, this doesn't work. In order to do it, you have to slide down Batman's gauntlet, which you can. It takes a little time, but you can get it to slide down. And this is going to slide right here. That's going to slide down. And this is going to peg into that hole. And there you go. That was simple. Pretty simple, which makes me wonder how people are actually breaking this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in order to attach Batman's cape, you have a few options. First option would be to unpeg this piece right here that's holding the cape together in the collar. But sadly though, my piece doesn't want to come off, and it never did. So what I'm going to have to do is show it to you the hard way, the manual way. You take his head and you pop it off, which is kind of difficult. It's really on there tight, and it is on a ball joint if you wanted to know. So now you're looking at the neck that's underneath the thing. What you do is you take the cape's hole right here and you loop it around Batman's neck. Make sure it's positioned straight as best as possible. And then you take the head, and with enough force you apply this on, and it takes a lot of force to get this to peg on. It's kind of hard, but after a while it gets pretty easy. And just straighten everything out very gently without ripping anything, which you gotta be very careful. Straighten this out, and there you go. There's Batman with the cape. And now I can show you the famous so-called bat turn. Since Batman can't actually move his head around in the suit like in the actual film, there's the famous bat turn. So epic. Now, ladies and gentlemen, due to the fact that I have a short time limit, like I said before, I'm only able to show off one facial change, and I'm going to show off everybody's favorite, the bloody face. Simply open this up. Out pops the face. Set this aside. Here's the magnet right here, which might come off eventually if you are not careful. Here's what it looks like. Very nicely sculpted. Very nice. The teeth are even painted, and so is the inside. Very cool. And now for the facial change. What you do is, with a lot of force, you slide out the face. And it can be quite difficult. But if you work with it, the magnet will let go eventually. And this is what Batman looks like without a face. Creepy. Very creepy. But if you apply enough force, it will actually pop out eventually. Simply take the replacement, slide it in, like so, and there you go. Now Batman has got his bloody face from the final battle scene. Well, now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and show off the gimmick of the utility belt. And the only way to do that is to simply pop it off. So just go ahead and pull it off, slide it out, set Batman aside, and here's the utility belt, and its gimmick is a magnet as well. Now, at first I thought this tape was removable. I thought it was just here for protection, but no, this is what keeps the magnet in the utility belt. It's not glued in, so be very careful, people, and don't try and pull this off, because I tried, and yeah, you understand what could have happened. Now, only a few accessories will actually work with the utility belt, since they got magnets and only one's got a clip. So, speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and install the clip. This is pretty easy once you take the belt off of Batman. It's very simple, but it's kind of hard if you leave it on Batman. Simply just snap it in like so. It actually does move around. It's got enough room, which is nice. So there we go. Simply put the belt back on Batman. He's got these 2 pegs and this 2 holes right here. Simply peg them in. Like so. Simple. Next, we're going to take this hook shot right here. And it's going to go in like so. I'm going to set that aside. As a matter of fact, we can just slide it back. Like so. And last but not least, I will show you once and for all the handle on this thing, where the magnet is, like that. Fold it in. The magnet is going to be put this way. And that's how it works. Now, unfortunately though, the magnet is not really as strong as it could have been. So with a couple of thumps, it's going to slide off. But lucky enough, it didn't slide off that time. So overall, I really do like this, but just the fact that the magnet is not as strong as it could have been, and that you could really lose this piece if you're not careful, it's kind of a letdown. But, I mean, it does look pretty accurate to where he's pulling the grapple gun out of his belt buckle anyway. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the final piece to the grappling hook, I'm going to show you how it combines. Simply unpeg these 2 pieces right here, take the handle and fold it down, and take this piece right here, and make sure the pegs go in the proper places, push them in, and there is the grappling gun. Finally, make sure Batman's got this proper hand, because this is the one that actually holds the gun, and just slide it in. Make sure that his finger is around the peg, just to give it more of a dynamic look, and there you go. Batman's got his grappling gun, which is very awesome. I really love this piece. And ladies and gentlemen, just as an added bonus, just because I can't show off the rest of the accessories for Batman, here is that guard piece attached to his hand. All it does is this peg slides into the gauntlet. That's it. Nothing else holds it. It is held on by friction, but if you're not careful, it will come out very easily. And I still don't understand how this thing actually worked in the film. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and here's a quick size comparison with Hot Toys Batman compared to what is close in scale to Batman. It's the only thing in my room at this moment is Lego Bionicle Rudaka. That is it. That is all I've got to compare with. So, I know it's not perfect, but it's close enough. That just gives you guys a good idea how big this Batman figure is. If anything, it is the biggest Batman figure in my whole entire Batman collection thus far. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and now the time has come to get to the main attraction about this figure. What everybody's been waiting for. How good is the articulation on this masterpiece figure with this very, very tight batsuit? And I mean it. It is very, very tight. And if you are not careful, you might even rip it. So be very, very careful. And ladies and gentlemen, with his cape on, I will go ahead and tell you for the record that his articulation is not hindered by it. So, that's a good thing. So, we're going to start off with his head. His head can look up, it can look down because it's on a ball joint, and it can kind of turn side to side even though it's not supposed to, and it didn't do it in the film. Like I said, that's why they had that famous bat turn. But, I mean, it's there a little bit. You can turn it a pretty good distance, good enough at least, to where he's looking left and right, but really it's supposed to stay straight. Shoulders are on a ball joint. They can go about that high. I mean, you can get them a little higher, but just because of the tightness of the suit, it's going to come right back down. The arms, they can go about this high, and that's it. It is hindered in some places. They can go back about that far. You can't get any farther than that. He still can bend at a 90 degrees, as you can see, but just because of the way the suit's designed, it kind of pushes it back a little bit. He's got bicep rotation, as you can see right here. So it does stay in place, which is nice. That's an added bonus. The wrist is on a ball joint. It will go in any position. It will rotate. It will fold in and out. It will fold in and out this way as well, depending on where the joint's heading. And because of the way the suit is so tight, you can get a little movement out of the waist joint and the uppercut joint up here, but this is about as far as you're going to get, because if you try to turn it this way, either you'll rip the suit or it'll just reset, because it always does that. It's just so tight, which I guess is true to the movie, man. Now, a lot of people are really questioning the suit because the Batmobile is coming out next year, and this figure is supposed to fit inside. And a lot of people are questioning this one part right here, because since the suit is so tight, they don't know whether or not this figure is actually going to work in the Batmobile. Well, let me go ahead and tell you, rest assured, you've got nothing to worry about. He's got enough free movement in the leg where the suit won't rip whatsoever, but you can actually get him in the very nice sitting position inside the Batmobile, so don't worry. Everything will be just fine. So pretty much his legs can go up, they can go back, they can go in and out, about that far. I wouldn't risk it. They also have a thigh cut, as you can see. I'm turning it. They are double jointed at the knees, and they actually do rotate a little bit at the knees, just because of the joint. And last but not least, at the feet, his feet can actually rotate because of the way they're designed. And he does have a little bit of some feet movement. I mean, you can bend them up about that far, but they always reset. You can bend them down a little bit, but they keep resetting. And you can split them side to side, so that's pretty cool. I mean, this figure is loaded with over 30 points of articulation, as I read. So, ladies and gentlemen, that about does it. I mean, that is everything that a Batman fan could want out of a Hot Toys figure. Sure, there could have been a little bit more in features, but really, I mean, what more could we possibly ask for the price that we are paying for? So, I really am impressed with this figure. There's some good things and there are some bad things, but you know what? It's really no nitpicking. Well, I mean, okay, scratch that, reverse it. It is nitpicking, but, you know, that's better than complaining. So, I really do like this figure. It's my very first Hot Toy. If anything, it's probably going to be my very last, unless I really do want Joker, unless you guys really want me to review him. I really don't see any reason to pick him up otherwise than just have the good guy and the bad guy thing going on. But really, I don't want to jump into Hot Toys. I mean, I bought it for one reason only, and that's because it's Batman. I'm a very big Batman fan. He will always be my all-time favorite humanoid superhero. Okay? Humanoid. I totally forgot to show this off to you guys, but there is wire inside this cape here, and it will stay in certain positions you want Batman to be in the stance for. Like if you want the cape flapping in the air, you could actually have that, even though I'm not really good at that kind of thing, but I'm just showing you guys what could possibly be done here. And Batman can be put in a lot of positions, but, I mean, you gotta be really careful with this figure. I mean, don't get me wrong, the QC on this figure is great. I mean, the suit's not gonna rip that easily, but after a while, I mean, if you put too much stress on it, sooner or later, it's gonna give somewhere. And hopefully it won't be the bottom of the bat suit. Hopefully. So, like I said, overall, I'm really impressed with this figure, guys, and I cannot recommend him enough. If you got the money and you got the power of online buying, I say purchase him. He is well worth it. You won't be disappointed. This is indeed probably the best masterpiece of any 89 Batman movie action figure that we're ever going to have. And I mean ever. So, Hot Toys, from the bottom of my heart, for everybody else, I'm saying this for you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for making our Batman fantasy dream action figure come true. At long last, we have the ultimate 1989 Michael Keaton Batman that every Batman fan would have wanted. Now, the only thing that could have been a little better is if we actually had a true head sculpted Michael Keaton for an extra accessory with this figure. But that's just another nitpicking. But maybe, just maybe, when Batman Returns come out, maybe we might actually have that. I mean, after all, he did rip off the cowl at the end of that movie, didn't he? Right? So that might make a nice bonus. So hopefully it won't be an exclusive. So that's it, guys. Overall, there's nothing else I can really talk about. I really do love this figure with all the articulation, the real authentic movie likeness to the suit. I mean, all the accessories, the display stand lighting up. I mean, it's just so awesome. that, I mean, I just really cannot praise this figure enough. I really do recommend him to all big Batman fans out there, especially if you are a true Michael Keaton fan. Because that's where it started with me, and that's where it's going to end. So that's it. There's nothing better. I really cannot say anything else for any other Batman except the fact is, Michael Keaton is the Batman, and will always be the Batman. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I will answer them when I have time. But until then, that's the end review of Hot Toys Deluxe 09 1/6 scale Batman. And that's me, Red is Power, signing out. Thank you very much for watching this long review, guys. And I'll see you next time. Take care.